The Man Who Didn't Want to Die. Introduction. I will tell you something, but I won't tell you something new. With this phrase, the old ones began their stories, and they must have known why. Once, upon a long time ago, in a faraway land, there lived a man. This man was more afraid of death than all the other people. One can ask oneself now, who might not be afraid to die? We all do not want our lives to end one day. The fear of this man, though, was so big that even the view of a cemetery nearly frightened him to death. His fear was so big that he never went to funerals, even if a good friend or a family member had died. Indeed, his fear was so big that he never spoke about sickness. Anything finite was taboo for him. And to make matters even worse, his fear grew from day to day. It was unbearable. Permanently, he thought about how to avoid death, how to cheat death, and to live forever. One day, when he wasn't able to bear his fear of death any longer, he raised his hands to the heavens and spoke, "Almighty God, you have created the heavens and the earth. Heaven is wide and far away, and the earth is so huge. Somewhere, surely, there must be a land where cemeteries do not exist, and I must find this land." Thus he spoke. Eventually, he couldn't abide anymore to be in his homeland, on the northern ridge of the Atlas Mountains. Away, away, away from home. That was his only thought. He sold all of his belongings, took his horse, and started his journey for a land without cemeteries. This is the story of his journey. That was in fact a search. And you, dear listeners, shall judge at the end of it if the man who didn't want to die reached his goal or not. But as every journey, so does also this story start with the first step. Thus, he left his hometown and set out into the world. His path led him through many cities and villages and to many a Bedouin tribe. Everywhere he asked people the same question: "Do you have a cemetery?" And everywhere he got the same answer, sometimes derisively, sometimes astonished. "Of course we have a cemetery. What kind of question is that?" Upon which he immediately prepared for his fastest possible departure. One day, the man had already done a long ride and was craving a rest. He arrived again in a large city. And although this one had also several cemeteries, he decided to stay a bit and recover. The best place to that end was, of course, the hammam, that bath under a roof that served as a place of cleaning for the women during the day and for men in the evening. And at night the hammam became a dormitory for travelers who could also exchange news there. Traditionally, the men were often sitting together there at night and spent many hours telling tales. On that evening, when the man who didn't want to die was amongst them, things weren't different. As soon as a small circle of men sat together, enjoying tea and the shisha water pipe, a lively conversation started. In the glow of the carbide lamp, the faces of the gathered men seemed beautiful. Their eyes and hair was shining, and sitting together like that, they were as one, nearly as brethren. Conversations arose, jokes were made, there was laughter, and poems and epic tales were told. Amidst all of these talks, a young man with his servant entered the scene. The latter groaned under the burden of delectables his master had loaded him with. Couscous with cooked lamb and vegetables, fried chicken, honey cake, and dates. Under the expectant and astonished gaze of all present, these victuals were placed into the middle of the circle, and the young man spoke. I bring to you a sadaqah, an offering, because I want to share my good fortune with you. God the Almighty has rewarded me generously. Judging from your gifts, you must have had a very special experience. What kind of generosity did the Almighty bestow upon you? Ah, well, sit down and tell us your story. We are eager to hear every story there is. One of the men spoke. He was invited to join the circle, but preferred to keep standing, and started to tell the group in that fashion about his experience. This is an excerpt from the book The Man Who Didn't Want to Die, published by naceurcharlesaceval in 2014. English audio version by aceval. Published with authorization and explicit encouragement from the author. Currently, the book is only available in German. If you are an editor and interested in publishing an English version of the book, please contact me, the author's son, aceval, under hakim@aceval.net. To order an autographed and dedicated copy of the book, please contact the author directly under erzaehler.aceval@gmail.com or via his Facebook page. Thank you.